Hi, I'm Casey.
And I'm Joe.
And we're the McCarthys. And we have another recipe for you today. This is called, we call it Joe's Rice.
Yeah.
But we modified it.
This recipe got created one day. Usually Casey works late on Tuesdays. And one day when she was driving home, she said, I said, what do you want for dinner? She said, something with lots of vegetables. And I said, okay. And I made something with lots of vegetables. And this is what it is. So I got about half of a yellow pepper, half of a red pepper, and half of a green pepper, all chopped up real small. I got probably 3 or 4 stalks of celery chopped up. And I got 1 whole onion chopped up real small.
I love onion.
And a couple carrots chopped up real small. And about a half pound of mushrooms. I put all these on the stove and cook the vegetables.
So this is where I want to chime in. So the first time I saw Joe make this, I was like, oh my God, you have no oil in there? You have no garlic? You have no seasonings? And I was like, in my head, I was thinking, this is going to be so gross. How am I going to fake this to make this? So anyways, he literally puts no oil, no seasonings, nothing in this. It's just, he slowly cooks his vegetables and it's delicious. I'm like, go figure. Because if it were me, I would have added a ton of things to it.
I hardly ever use any oil or salt or anything when I cook.
Well, that was the other thing too. I kept saying, there's no salt in that, because I love salt. And I'm like, there's no salt in that? How am I supposed to eat that with no salt? And he's like, try it. So it's very, very good. So we're going to let this cook down and we'll be back. Hi, we're back.
Along with this meal, we're going to have barbecue chicken. Another one of those recipes that I just kind of wing it. When I do my barbecue chicken, I take a whole chicken breast and I slice it in half lengthwise.
You can do it.
It's hard to do when I'm holding it up.
So we figured out that we have 4 breasts of chicken, and we figured out that it's 28 ounces of chicken. So it works out to 3.5 ounces for every slice, basically. So what he does is, to hold it up, he takes 1 piece of chicken, slices it lengthwise down the middle, and makes 2 pieces.
I'm not a big meat eater. So
he is not a big meat eater.
That 1 little piece of chicken is more than enough for me. Plus it cooks faster on the barbecue.
And he's very good at barbecuing too. So now he's going to show you what he puts in it to make it so yummy.
To my chicken, I add 2 tablespoons of Diana sauce. Then I add garlic powder. It's kind of a 2-taste thing, so I just shake a bunch on there.
You like the gaze? You don't measure. I don't measure either.
Then onion powder. Same thing, shake a bunch on there. Today we're putting seasoning salt. And some paprika.
You're putting lots again this time?
Yep. Yeah, last time I put a lot by accident and it turned out even better than normal.
I liked it.
Then I just mix it all together. Get everything, all the pieces all coated every side. Even the kids call it Dad's chicken. Dad, are you making your chicken tonight?
Mm-hmm. It's that simple. And then you just throw it on the barbecue. So how do you cook this? Do you cook it on low? Do you cook it on high? Like how do you do it?
I put the barbecue on high first to heat the grill up nice and hot.
Mm-hmm.
And when I throw the chicken on, it's still on high, but I turn it down right away.
What do you turn it down to?
Our barbecue doesn't really have numbers. I think the temperature goes down to about 300 in the barbecue, or 400.
So kind of like a medium low?
Yeah, medium low. And then it only takes about 5 minutes aside.
Yeah.
A couple minutes longer.
It's very juicy and very delicious.
That's it. It's done.
Perfect.
Okay, we're back. The vegetables have been cooking for about 8 or 9 minutes. You want them still crunchy. You don't want them too mushy and soft. It's tastes better with the crunch. So now I'm going to switch my vegetables to a bigger pot. These are all the yummy vegetables. She wanted lots of vegetables.
Transferring it to a bigger pot just allows it to be easier to mix.
Now we're going to add the quinoa to the vegetables.
So we made the quinoa, and 1 cup of dry quinoa makes 3 cups of cooked quinoa.
So that's 2 cups of quinoa. Just stir it up.
Now you turned this burner off,
Yes.
right?
The burner's off. Sometimes I just keep it on a low, just to keep everything warm. Casey likes her food hot, so. And that's 3 cups of quinoa. Now once this is all mixed and simmering, I start my frying pan up. And going in the frying pan, I have 4 eggs that I'm going to scramble.
Again, he uses no Pam, no oil, nothing. Do you want a new one of those?
Yes, please.
Do you want this?
Yeah, that one works. I just kind of scramble them up in the pan. Let the eggs cook. And then to the quinoa and vegetables, I'm going to add some soy sauce. One, 2, 3, 4. Give it a mix, see how it looks. And we're going to go a little bit more. We're going to go 6 tablespoons of soy sauce. This is a recipe I kind of do by eye most of the time because it may depend on how many vegetables I chop up. I kind of give it a look inside the pot, see what it looks like.
Looks good.
So there's your vegetables, quinoa, and your soy sauce all mixed up. Now I'm just going to finish cooking my eggs and get the chicken on the barbecue. And when we come back, I'll throw the eggs in with the quinoa and vegetables, and we'll have some barbecue chicken to go with it.
So while Joe's cooking up the chicken and finishing off his rice, I thought that I would mention a few things about quinoa versus rice. So when you compare things to our WW app and you look at quinoa and you look at white rice, they're the same. 1 cup of quinoa is 6 points, 1 cup of white rice is 6 points. So I thought, I'm gonna find out why people are switching to quinoa versus rice. And these are some of the things that I came up with today just by Googling it. So it says 1 cup of quinoa contains 5 grams of dietary fiber, which is more than white or brown rice. Fiber helps prevent constipation, helps control your blood sugar levels, and may help lower cholesterol. It says fiber also helps you maintain a healthy weight by making you feel fuller longer and less likely to overeat or snack later. I looked up, is quinoa better than white rice? So it says, additionally, quinoa has far fewer calories and carbohydrates than white rice, which contains 40 more calories than quinoa and 15 times the carbohydrates per cup than the same amount of quinoa. So when you're comparing it cup for cup. And it says that quinoa is also a good source of protein, and we already mentioned the fact that it's a good source of fiber as well, which is what we all need in our diets. So I also looked up, can it help you lose weight? And it says quinoa is high in fiber, protein, and has a low glycemic index. So that's really beneficial for anybody with diabetes or anybody who is trying to watch their sugar levels. And the reason why is a glycemic index is once you eat a carbohydrate, your body has to process it. It has to break it down, and carbohydrates get broken down into sugars, which are known as glucose. So that's why you want to eat foods that have a lower glycemic level so that it takes longer for your body to process it and it doesn't spike your insulin levels. So quinoa is the better option here, which is why Joe is using quinoa instead of rice today. I also did a comparison between brown rice and quinoa because I've always been told to eat brown rice by my endocrinologist. And it says that quinoa provides 21% of your daily fiber in 1 cup. Brown rice is only 14% of your daily income, or daily fiber income per cup. And for protein, brown rice is 5 grams of protein per cup, and quinoa is 8.1 grams of protein per cup. That's a huge difference. And I also looked into white rice versus brown rice. So the reason why brown rice is better than white rice is because it's not stripped of all of its, I think it's called a hull. Am I saying that right? Hull, the husk. It says it contains all of its parts of the grain, and that means it contains its bran and the germ, which provides you with all the nutrients that you need, which is why a lot of doctors recommend that you choose brown rice over white rice, because the white rice is actually stripped of all of those, all of that bran and germ, which takes away all of its vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. And that's our lesson for today. So everything's cooked and ready to go. We're now ready to plate. And we figured out that for 1 cup of Joe's, we call it Joe's rice, but it should be called now Joe's quinoa. It's 4 points for 1 cup, and the whole batch made 7 cups. So that's pretty good. It feeds a lot of people, because that's our problem, is we have a ton of mouths to feed, so we always have to make big batches of everything. Then for the chicken, I want to show you what it comes out like. This is Joe's barbecue chicken. It's beautiful. And I want to show you how juicy the inside is. Everything he makes is just so flavorful. I'm like, how do you do that?
No salt.
No salt? That's got to be it. Oh no, there's seasoning salt in it.
Yeah, there's seasoning salt in that, yeah.
And so we're each going to have a piece of chicken. So the chicken for Joe is 0 points.
0 points.
And for me, it's 2 points. And then I like to have a 1/4 cup of cottage cheese with my quinoa. I don't know why. I don't know where I got this from, but I always have cottage cheese with rice or quinoa. I just like it. I like the combination together. So my entire meal is 7 points, and Joe's entire meal is 4 points.
That's
So he can afford to have more.
Yeah.
So this is what my plate looks like. I got my cottage cheese. I got Joe's quinoa. And I got my piece of chicken. And Joe's.
There's my dinner.
So thank you for watching, and we hope you like this recipe.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.